This video I want to illustrate for the HOA the property line. That shadow right there is my neighbor's property line. Where the shadow is in the light, that's my property. I take a lot of pride in my property because my property has landscape fabric under all that rock right on the property line, and it has coarse stone with the sand and the pebbles taken out of it. So I don't have weeds. I don't spray for weeds. I don't have to. It's been that way for about 5 years. And this is for the HOA. And last year, during the summer, I got onto my bill for the dues was attached a $75 fine, and then later on a $100 fine for my yard. I keep this yard immaculate. All right, I don't grow weeds because of the landscape fabric and the way it is. But up against that wall, all last summer, the landlord let the weeds grow, and the people who were renting it never came to this side of the house. Okay, so you had weeds up against that wall. I believe what you brought up, if you look at your pictures that you took the day that you wrote this up, or the day that you found fault with it, or it became a discrepancy on your books. If you look at that picture, I will guarantee you that all the weeds will be up against that wall. And by the time June came along, here's a couple of weeds right there that haven't been taken down. I keep it clear now. There was 2 big bushes right there last year, and when they got so big, a neighbor or an uncle or a cousin or whoever knows the landlord came along and sprayed everything, and all that did was kill everything. He didn't remove it, he didn't pull the weeds or anything. I'll show you what it looks like. All last year, looks like he's come through and sprayed this year, but all last year there wasn't. And when he did, all he did was spray. So you had 2 big bushes. Around August, those bushes were dead. I had to pull them out myself. So now I try to keep this down to keep from getting the write-up. But if you look at your pictures, when you wrote up my yard, I'm sure you're going to see that all the weeds were up against that wall. And if you took the picture early in the morning, there was no light on it. You couldn't see like right now. But that line where the shadow is the property line. And there was nothing wrong with that property line. There was no weeds growing anywhere where you see light. Where you see the rocks lit up, there was no weeds. They were all up against that wall. And instead of pulling them around June when they were all topped out, and that's a wet area. Also, when it rains, that's a wet area. So it feeds these plants. When we have our spring rains, all it does is feed those plants. But not pulling them, spraying them, and then leaving them to die. And then I ended up getting a charge against my property for my front yard. There was nothing wrong with my front yard. Both sides of my front yard. This side and this side right here. Alright, that's paint. It isn't. Alright, this side, same thing. Landscape fabric, crushed stone with no sand or pebbles in it. And I reworked it. Before I put down all that, before I put down the landscapes had fabric and stone, I had to bank up that side of the house. I had to get on my hands and knees with a level and bank dirt because this house is 3 inches lower than that house for my water levels. Okay.